Now we're all
Now I'm
here.
the same size as you guys on my screen. Okay.
The stream is started, and I have to bring everyone in. Let me do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me see how many people actually have readied up. Because last time I was streaming, it was with Con and doing Space Quest. So there's Baldy. Okay, yeah, we're all here. We're all here. We're good. We're all good.
We're all people here.
I need to. Amanda's face is covering my face, so I need to get in front. There we go.
I must be front and
Oh,
center.
hey, I got really good pictures of these squirrels right here. I found the road trip pictures. They're on my computer.
You got squirrel pics?
I got squirrel pics.
I
guess I'm technically part squirrel. The other half is an owl.
Yeah, I mean,
you know.
Bard squirrel.
The R is
We are
usually silent.
squirrel.
But yeah. But when we're in the digital dojo, you pronounce the R.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm making it super chill. I'm not putting on music or anything. We're just gonna straight up read. How was everybody's week? Day/week. Which one? Let's start with the day. How was everyone's day?
Not great.
Infuriating. People don't know how to drive.
Sorry.
My complaint is just people
Yeah.
suck.
That's a good complaint.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
The week's been fine. The day's just been terrible.
It's been pretty tiring week for me. I've had morning duty this week, so that means I gotta get there like at 6:45. And so yeah, I'm happy to say I got there before 7 each day. Today was the only day it was off. And today wasn't too bad. It just there was a lot of stuff going on, and so I didn't get as much done as I wanted to with the kiddos. And that just usually throws stuff off. But I mean, aside from that, things went pretty well today, I think. Little baby said mama today, so.
Aww.
Yay.
Nice.
First words?
It's debatable. It's the first time she said mama and she wasn't like upset. So it was like clearly not just her like making upset noises. She's been saying da 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 like for like lots of stuff. So I'm okay with counting it as the first word because it's clearly not, just babbling.
Yeah. It's like it's a coherent word, intentional word.
There it is.
Like it for sure. Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
There it is. What?
I have found.
Squirrel
And what? Squirrel pics?
Dragonfly picture. No, it's a dragonfly picture.
Dragonfly.
Sorry, I need to send this to me. Share.
You always have really good conversations with yourself when you're on stream.
I do.
Fantastic.
Because I'm always trying to guess what's going on when you just like remark stuff randomly, and I'm just like, I don't. All right.
The inner thoughts leak out.
After about 10 years, you learn how to just roll with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Today I went to a faculty retreat at one of the museums in Griffith Park, Gene Autry Museum.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, it's really cool. I thought it was really neat seeing all the Old West stuff. And so that was the most enjoyable part. I thought originally it was going to be in front of arts faculty, but it really just ended up being more just general faculty with an emphasis on like the topics were emphasizing the arts. So I had already geared like my speech towards, arts. So I kind of had to improvise a little bit with that. But in general, I feel like I was well received. I just don't know how many people are actually gonna, start talking about me or recommending me. There just wasn't as many as I was expecting, so we'll see.
Mhm.
But it was a
Think
good
Barry be
experience
talking about
overall.
you.
I enjoyed the museum. That was the best part. And
Good.
I got there early, and they gave me a cowboy hat and a bandana.
I love it.
Did you tell Con about the cowboy hat and the bandana?
I haven't told Khan nothing since we talked Space
Um,
Quest stuff.
I just figured he's the one that owes you the yeehaws, right?
He's
So
the one that
it's
owes
just
me the yeehaws. Yeah.
What? How dare? How dare them not give you the yeehaws?
Whatever.
Yeah.
No, this is unforgivable.
I don't care. I don't care.
Unforgivable.
Anyways,
Whoa, what is
I
it from
could
Adventure
hear
Time?
that from in here.
Oh dang!
I'm ready to read.
I just need to know what chapter we're on.
Me too. Chapter 16, The Magic Art of the Great Humbug.
Oh no!
The
Hold
great.
on, my book is still loading. I should have pulled it up at the start of the stream before I even started.
Eh. Amanda, I need to make you smaller.
I want to be big.
Baljeet, I need to make you smaller.
I had to make
It's
myself smaller too on my
minimizing.
screen.
You're always the big
With
guy.
this, are you belittling us?
Oh, I just want
Yep.
everyone to fit. So we can see the
You
book.
want us to fit in?
I'm being compressed.
No, you're just hiding in the corner. It looks funny.
Being
Because you're like a sussy
compressed.
little tin man.
Don't you mean oppress? No, compress.
Wait, what chapter are we on?
Chapter XVI 16.
Ah, the magic art of the great humbug. Okay, wait, why is it so low? I need. This one's the one that I'm leaning on. It's supposed to be underneath my piece of wood. There we go. Now
Ah,
that's a setup.
you're
Aha.
laying on lumber, I see. No?
No,
He's
lumber is laying on me.
there. You go.
Oh. Okay. I don't know. You are a tin woodman after all. I would
I
expect you
am the
to
Tin Woodman.
have a supply of lumber near you at all times.
Mm-hmm.
I supplied this lumber.
What is the lumber
Man,
there
is your
for?
profile picture is that Nico Robin or is that
Put
someone
my
else?
mouse.
Oh, it's Nico Robin.
Okay, I couldn't. It's hard to tell from this.
Do you always have to
She's
say
Well,
Nico
making a
Robin?
face.
Do you is that the
Nico
rule?
Robin.
Do you have to call
Huh?
her Nico Robin every time? Or can you call her Nico or Robin? Or is it always Nico Robin?
It's usually Nico Robin or Robin. I don't think
Mhm.
I've ever heard anyone call her Nico.
Nico's so stylish and Italian sounding though. Or I don't know,
Nico Robin.
Eurocentric-ish.
Robin is
I
always
mean-
stylish.
Robin
Mhm.
is
Mhm.
the boy wonder. Okay. Are we all on the same page?
Yeah, I'm there.
Literally, yes. Hopefully.
Okay. Who starts? Mauricio, you start?
Do I start? Should I start?
Okay. Yeah, you can.
Yes, I will. Alright, let's do this! Hooray!
I guess I should put on some music in the background.
Blah.
I don't know.
Oh, I should probably join your stream for that part. So it goes through my.
I don't have any music going on.
I mean, for when that happens, you know.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
You want to be ready.
I really don't want to put on the video
Yeah.
game music, but I also don't want to get like a copyright strike from the classical music. So,
Mhm.
I don't know. Go ahead, Mauricio. Just start.
Vamoose. All right, here we go. Chapter 16. The Magic Art of Great Humbug. Whatever that means.
That's not part of the book.
Next morning, the Scarecrow said to his friends, "Congratulate me. I am going to Oz to get my brains at last. When I return, I shall be as other men are." "I have always liked you as you were," said Dorothy simply. "It is kind of you to like a scarecrow," he replied, "but surely you will think more of me when you hear the splendid thoughts of my new brain. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Hear the splendid thoughts my new brain is going to turn out." He then said goodbye to them. He he said, "Man, I am having dyslexia." Then
It
he
made
said
sense either
goodbye
way.
to them all in a cheerful voice and went to the throne room, where he rapped upon the door. "Come in," said Oz. All right. How much was that? I think that was quite a bit.
It's a good. I will go.
Okay. Who next?
Come in, said Oz. The Scarecrow went in and found the little man sitting down by the window, engaged in deep thought. "I have come for my brains," remarked the Scarecrow, a little uneasily. "Oh, yes, sit down in that chair, please," said Oz. "You must excuse me for taking your head off, but I shall have to do it in order to put your brains in the proper place." "That's all right," said the Scarecrow. "You are quite welcome to take my head off, as long as it will be a better one when you put it back on again." So the wizard unfastened his head and emptied out the straw. Then he entered the back room and took up a measure of bran, which he mixed with a great many pins and needles.
Ooh, pins and
Go.
needles.
Yeah, Amanda's next.
Pins and needles.
Looks like it's like in the middle of a paragraph, though.
Oh, is it? No, I don't know.
Yeah, for me it is.
Okay,
Yeah, for me
sorry, it turned
also.
the page for me. Having shaken them together thoroughly, he filled the
That's
top of the Scarecrow's head with the mixture and stuffed the rest of the space with straw to hold it in place. Now I'm going to pass it off to Amanda.
There we go. Now I'm not lost. When he had fastened the Scarecrow's head on his body again, he said to him, "Hereafter you will be a great man, for I have given you a lot of brand new brains." Scarecrow, Bran, uh, the Scarecrow was both pleased and proud at the fulfillment of his greatest wish, and having thanked Oz warmly, he went back to his friends. Dorothy looked at him curiously. His head was quite bulged out at the top with brains. "How do you feel?" she asked. "I feel wise indeed," he answered earnestly. "When I get used to my brains, I shall know everything." I read a decent amount, or should I keep going? Then I'm gonna stop there.
Okay. All right. Full Metal Alchemist. "Why are those needles and pins sticking out of your head?" asked the Tin Woodman. "That is proof that he is sharp," remarked the Lion. "Well, I must go to Oz and get my heart," said the Woodman. So he walked to the throne room and knocked at the door. "Come in," called Oz, and the Woodman entered and said, "I have come for my heart." "Very well," answered the little man, "but I shall have to cut a hole in your breast so I can put your heart in the right place. I hope it won't hurt you." Full Metal Alchemist.
"Oh no," answered the woodman. "I shall not feel it at all." So Oz brought a pair of tinsmith's shears and cut a small square hole in the left side of the Tin Woodman's breast. Then, going to a chest of drawers, he took out a pretty heart, made entirely of silk and stuffed with sawdust. "Isn't it a beauty?" he asked. "It is indeed," replied the woodman, who was greatly pleased. "But is it a kind heart?" "Oh, very," answered Oz. He put the heart in the woodman's breast, and then replaced the square of tin, soldering it neatly together where it had been cut. "There," he said, "now you have a heart that any man might be proud of. I'm sorry I had to put a patch on your breast, but it really couldn't be helped." "Never mind the patch," exclaimed the happy woodman. "I am very grateful to you and shall never forget your kindness." "Don't speak of it," replied Oz. Then the Tin Woodman went back to his friends, who wished him every joy on account of his good fortune. Go ahead.
Okay. The lion now walked to the throne room and knocked at the door. "Come in," said Oz. "I have come for my courage," announced the lion, entering the room. "Very well," answered Little Ben, "I will get it for you." He went to a cupboard, and reaching up to a high shelf, took down a square green bottle, the contents of which he poured into a green gold dish beautifully carved. Placing this before the Cowardly Lion, who sniffed at it as if he did not like it, the wizard said, "Drink." "What is it?" asked the lion. "Well," answered Oz, "if it were inside of you, it would be courage. You know, of course, that courage is always inside one. So that this really cannot be called courage until you have swallowed it. Therefore, I advise you to drink it as soon as possible." The lion hesitated no longer, but drank till the dish was empty. "Pass it on."
"How do you feel now?" asked Oz. "Full of courage," replied the lion, who went joyfully back to his friends to tell them of his good fortune. Oz, left to himself, smiled to think of his success in giving the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman and the lion exactly what they wanted, what they thought they wanted. "How can I help being a happy humbug," he said, "when all these people make me do things that everybody knows can't be done?" It was easy to make the Scarecrow and the Lion and the Woodman happy because they imagined I could do anything, but it will take more than imagination to carry Dorothy back to Kansas. I'm sure I don't know how it can be done. Full Metal Alchemist.
Me.
All right.
Me.
Chapter Full Middle Alchemist. Chapter
Wait, I'm
17.
gonna put on rainy mood sounds. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Okay. I can pause a middle of the
Yeah.
Alchemist for rain sounds. Yep.
Yes.
Can do.
I'm just hoping the rain sounds don't get claimed.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last time. Oh, that was so dumb.
10
I
hours
can
of rain
copyright
sounds and
free.
distant thunder. White noise for deep sleep.
I'm gonna copyright the water cycle.
Yes.
I'm going to copyright this exact rain sound.
It happened with bird sounds. Like I went to go just add a song for distribution, and like one of my things came back as copyright, and it was because of the bird sounds in the background. Like I'm almost certain that's what it was, because like TikTok said stuff about ocean sounds.
The birds
How
work
you
for the
gonna
bourgeoisie.
copyright birds? Huh?
Okay, I shared it in the Discord.
Wee.
In the call.
Birds work for the bourgeoisie.
It's streaming now.
The bougie birds.
Okay. Go ahead. You can middle your Malcolmist now.
Mm-hmm.
Middle bang 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 bada bang dang dang bang bang bang.
Uh-oh, where'd my book go? There's my book. Okay. Full middle, Malcolm in the Middle. Chapter 17, How the Balloon Was Launched. For 3 days, Dorothy heard nothing from Oz. These were sad days for the little girl, although her friends were all quite happy and contented. The Scarecrow told them there were wonderful thoughts in his head, but he would not say what they were because he knew no one could understand them but himself. When the Tin Woodman walked about, he felt his heart rattling around in his breast, and he told Dorothy he had discovered it to be a kinder and tenderer heart than the one he had owned when he was made of flesh. The Lion declared he was afraid of nothing on earth and would gladly face an army or a dozen of the fierce Kalidas.
Kalida.
Kalida. I missed it. So what is his heart made out of now?
Silk.
Silk and
That's
sawdust.
Basically, he's a fucking Build-A-Bear now.
That is adorable.
Oh my god. Tinker a 10.
No, if he was a fucking Build-A-Bear, that'd be something different.
If you're
You're
fucking
right.
a Build-A-Bear, that'd be something different.
Yes.
Oh. And now I can't get an image out of my head. Oh, goodness.
Well, he did have come for his new heart, so.
What?
Sorry. Funny.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh my god.
That's what the
Kalida.
Build-A-Bear said.
Kalidas.
Kalidas.
Oh my
Alright.
Kalidas.
Thus, each little party was satisfied except Dorothy, who longed more than ever to get back to Kansas. You know, Oz just threw together a bunch of stuff and just ignored the fact that she needs to get home.
Throw sawdust in her face and say, here's Kansas.
Well,
Kansas.
considering that he doesn't even know how to get back to his own, place. Yeah.
He's stuck.
He's stuck.
Duck.
Alright.
I accidentally called Canvas Kansas today. Funny. Must have been all the
Dorothy's just
American
like-
West stuff, at the museum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dorothy says that she misses Kansas, and Toto says he misses the rains down in Africa. Alrighty-o, on the fourth day, to her great joy, Oz sent for her, and when she entered the throne room, he greeted her pleasantly. "Sit down, my dear. I think I have found the way to get you out of this country." "And back to Kansas?" she asked eagerly. "Well, I'm not sure about Kansas," said Oz, "for I haven't the faintest notion which way it lies. But the first thing to do is to cross the desert, and then it should be easy to find your way home." "How can I cross the desert?" she inquired. "Well, I'll tell you what I think," said the little man. "You see, when I came to this country, it was in a big balloon. You also came through the air, being carried by a cyclone, so I believe the best way to get across the desert will be through the air. Now, it is quite beyond my powers to make a cyclone, but I've been thinking the matter over, and I believe I can make a balloon." Alright, next up.
On Dragon Ball Z.
Dun 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 dun.
How?
Dorothy.
Ask Dorothy.
Wait,
A
no,
balloon.
it's me.
Oh,
It's me.
I forgot. Because one
I
of the
need to
times I
take
went,
Shut up! It's my turn.
okay.
Oh,
That was really
nice.
loud.
This intensity.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting.
Mommy's
I refuse
alright.
to refer
alright.
to you and Mitchell as mommy and daddy. No.
I'll be mommy.
I'll be your mommy.
Oh no.
Oh,
I'll be
What is
mommy.
happening? Make it stop.
Baljeet, your daddy. That's true.
Respectfully, no.
Okay.
Wait, yes to my child, but that's
Well,
it.
okay. Well, wait a second, right? We
Mhm.
are the head of the Reading Renegades. Which one of us is the mom and which one is the dad, right?
That's okay. It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Don't know. Fudge, who's the mom? Who's the dad? You're the one that came after, right?
Well, you are a dad, so I think that answers that question.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. I'm mommy. Continuing. How? Asked Dorothy. A balloon, said Oz, is made of silk, which is coated with glue to keep gas in it. I have plenty of silk in the palace, so it will be no trouble to make the balloon. But in all this country, there is no gas to fill the balloon with to make it float. If it won't float, remarked Dorothy, it will be of no use to us. True, answered Oz, but there is another way to make it float, which is to fill it with hot air. Hot air isn't as good as gas, but if the air should get cold, the balloon would come down in the desert and we should be lost. We, exclaimed the girl, are you going with me? Amanda, go.
The go? No, Amanda, no go.
Okay, fine, I'll keep going. Yes, of course, replied Oz. I am tired of being such a humbug. If I should go out of the palace, then my people would soon... Okay.
Yes, of course, replied Oz. I am tired of being such a humbug. If I should go out of this palace, my people would soon discover I am not a wizard, and then they would be vexed with me for having deceived them. So I have to stay shut up in these rooms all day, and it gets tiresome. I'd much rather go back to Kansas with you and be in a circus again. I shall be glad to have your company, said Dorothy. Thank you, he answered. Now, if you will help me sew the silk together, we will begin to work on our balloon.
This man has a lot of silk at his disposal.
Sewing
It was
circle.
the Emerald City, not the Silk City.
Bro, when you're a
Maybe it's
shut-in
like
for
excess
that
from
long, you better
circus.
take up sewing or knitting or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, a balloon was made out of silk and glue?
Try it.
That's...
Here's a class activity.
You know what? Yeah. We could do that. I don't know how much silk costs, but we can definitely put some silk and glue together.
Yeah.
Totally.
There.
Put those kids to work.
Children, you're in the mines.
Alright. Full Metal Alchemist. So Dorothy took a needle and thread, and as fast as Oz cut the strips of silk into proper shape, the girl sewed them neatly together. First there was a strip of light green silk, then a strip of dark green, and then a strip of emerald green, and these were all really gray because they had on emerald glasses. For Oz had a fancy to make the balloon in different shades of the color about them. It took 3 days to sew all the strips together, but when it was finished, they had a big bag of green silk, more than 20 feet long. Then Oz painted it on the inside with a coat of thin glue to make it airtight, after which he announced that the balloon was ready. Full Metal Alchemist.
Bless you.
Sorry, my bad. But we must have a basket to ride in, he said. So he sent the soldier with the green whiskers for a big clothes basket, which he fastened with many ropes to the bottom of the balloon. When it was all ready, Oz sent word to his people that he was going to make a visit to a great brother wizard who lived in the clouds. The news spread rapidly throughout the city, and everyone came to see the wonderful sight. Oz ordered the balloon carried out in front of the palace, and the people gazed upon it with much curiosity. The Tin Woodman had chopped up a big pile of wood, and now he made a fire for it. And Oz held the bottom of the balloon over the fire so that the hot air that arose from it could be caught in the silken bag. Gradually, the balloon swelled out and rose into the air, until finally the basket just touched the ground. Okay, go.
I was imagining Hulk Hogan as the Great Brother Wizard who lived in the clouds. That's right, I'm the Great Brother Wizard.
What you need, brother?
Listen to me, brother. This is how you're gonna make a balloon.
This is how we're gonna get back to Kansas, brother. You want none of this?
You better get your ass back to Kansas, brother. I'm gonna make this balloon for you.
Gotta make it to WrestleMania.
If you want to make it to WrestleMania in time, you better get down there in a balloon made out of silk and glue. And that's gonna happen at the next WrestleMania. Calling it now.
A silken balloon.
Yeah. Someone's gonna arrive in a balloon.
It may or may not be Hulk.
Yeah. No, it'll be, you know. It will be like, you know, it'll be the Great Brother Wizard. But nobody knows it's Hulk Hogan, right? So. You see?
Yes, I.
Yeah. Twist.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go.
Okay. Am I at then Oz got into the basket or whatever?
Yes.
Then Oz
He
got
gets
into
in
the basket and said to
gets in
all
that
the
basket.
people in a loud voice, I am now going away to make a visit. While I am gone, the Scarecrow will rule over you. I command you to obey him as you would me. Gonna go well.
Here, this fucking scarecrow with fake brains is gonna be your ruler.
With his brains falling out of his head, yeah. The balloon by this time tugging hard at the rope that held it to the ground, for the air within it was hot, and this made it so much lighter in weight than the air without that it pulled hard to rise into the sky. "Come, Dorothy!" cried the wizard. "Hurry up or the balloon will fly away!" "I can't find Toto anywhere," replied Dorothy, who did not wish to leave her little dog behind. Toto had run into the crowd to bark at a kitten, and Dorothy at last had found him. She picked him up and ran towards the balloon. She was within a few steps of it, and Oz was holding out his hands to help her into the basket when crack went the ropes, and the balloon rose into the air without her. Boobity boobity muckamy moodily malcolmy.
Come back, she screamed. I want to ghost too. I can't come back, my dear, called Oz from the basket. Goodbye.
Goodbye!
Goodbye, shouted everyone, and all eyes were turned upward to where the wizard was riding in the basket, rising every moment farther and farther into the sky. And that was the last of it any of them ever saw of Oz, the wonderful wizard, though he may have reached Omaha safely and be there now for all we know.
What a bitch.
But the people remember
Deuces.
the people remembered him lovingly and said to one another, Oz was always our friend. When he was here, he built for us this beautiful Emerald City, and now he is gone. He has left the wise Scarecrow to rule over us. Still, for many days, they grieved over the loss of the wonderful wizard and would not be comforted. Well, man,
Is WrestleMania gonna
What
take
the
place in Omaha?
fuck?
It does now.
It does now.
does now.
Hell yeah, brother.
Oh yeah, brother. It's your turn. Yes, you. You.
Me? Me.
Yeah, you.
Me.
You. Can't you
Yes,
see I'm
see?
pointing at you through the screen?
No, I had to clear off my glasses. I'm sorry. Try again.
You.
Oh, okay, I saw it. All right. Chapter 18. Away to the south. Dorothy wept bitterly at the passing of her hope to get home to Kansas again. But when she thought it all over, she was glad she had not gone up in a balloon. And she also felt sorry at losing Oz, and so did her companions. the Tin Woodman came to her and said, "Truly, I should be ungrateful if I failed to mourn for the man who gave me my lovely heart. I should like to cry a little because Oz is gone, and if you will kindly wipe away my tears, that I shall not rust." "With pleasure," she answered, and brought a towel at once. And the Woodman wept for several minutes, and she washed the tears carefully and wiped them away with the towel. When he had finished, he thanked her kindly and oiled himself thoroughly with his jeweled oil can to guard
In
against
public?
In public?
Look, it's the Emerald City. There's not standards there.
Whoa, yeah,
Where
Emerald
we're
City's
going, we
getting
don't need
freaky.
standards.
Where we're going, we don't.
Yeah, we're going. We don't need standards. We're talking about
Where
standards.
we're going, we oil up in public.
Well, damn.
That's what the Emerald City's all about, you guys.
Oiling up in public. Yep.
Oh wait, so
Wow,
it's supposed to be a
okay.
workshop. Gotcha.
Wow. Okay. Am I the Scarecrow is now the ruler?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait,
Oiled
yes, right.
himself thoroughly. Yes. Okay.
The dumbass Scarecrow was now the ruler of the...
Of the Emerald City, the fitness
me to
Grand
my
Pacer test. The fitness Grand Pacer test is is multi-step.
I think you're on the wrong page, my dear.
This
The Scarecrow was now
brand
the ruler
buffoon...
of the Emerald City, and although he was not a wizard, the people were proud of him. For, they said, there is not another city in all the world that is ruled by a stuffed man.
Damn.
You can say that he's full of himself, but
Yeah.
and so far as they knew, they were quite right. The morning after the balloon had gone up with Oz, the four travelers met in the throne room and talked matters over. The Scarecrow sat in a big throne, and the others stood respectfully before him. "We are not so unlucky," said the new ruler, "for this palace and the Emerald City belong to us, and we can do just as we please. When I remember that a short time ago I was upon a pole on a farmer's cornfield, and that now I am the ruler of this beautiful city, I am quite satisfied with my lot. I also," said the Tin Woodman, "I am well pleased with my new heart, and really, that was the only thing I wished in the world. For my part, I am content in knowing I am as brave as any beast that ever lived, if not braver," said the lion modestly.
Modestly.
"If Dorothy would only be contented to live in the Emerald City," continued the Scarecrow, "we might all be happy together." "But I don't want to live here," cried Dorothy. "I want to go to Kansas and live with Aunt Em and Uncle Henry." Jesus, girl, like, there's nothing over there. Your uncle doesn't even talk to you.
There's nothing. Not even
Full
WrestleMania.
Alchemist. Not even WrestleMania, exactly.
I just think it's funny that, you know, he started on a pole and now he's an emperor. I don't know.
The Emperor's New Pole.
Emperor's new pole. Okay. Well then, what can be done? Inquired the woodman. The Scarecrow decided to think, and he thought so hard that the pins and needles began to stick out of his brains. Finally, he said, "Why not call the winged monkeys and ask them to carry you over the desert?" "I never thought of that. It's just the thing," said Dorothy. Joyfully, "I'll go at once for the golden cap." When she brought it into the throne room, she spoke the magic words. Soon the band of winged monkeys flew in through the open window and stood beside her. "This is the second time you have called us," said the Monkey King, bowing before the little girl. "What do you wish?" "I want you to fly with me to Kansas," said Dorothy. But the Monkey King shook his head. "That cannot be done."
Uh-uh-uh.
Not in
my house.
No, in my house.
Not in my Kansas.
That cannot be done. We belong to this country alone and cannot leave it. There has never been a winged monkey in Kansas yet. Try me. And I suppose there never will be. For they don't belong there. New cryptid. New SCP. Winged monkey in Kansas.
Oh no.
We shall be glad to serve you in any way in our power. But we cannot cross the desert. Goodbye. And with another bow, the Monkey King spread his wings and flew away through the window, followed by all his band. Gooby.
Dorothy was ready to cry with disappointment. I have wasted the charm of the golden cap to no purpose, she said, for the winged monkeys cannot help me. It is certainly too bad, said the tender-hearted woodman. Scarecrow was thinking again, and his head bulged out so horribly that Dorothy feared it would burst. Let us call in the soldier with the green whiskers, he said, and ask his advice. So the soldier was summoned and entered the throne room timidly, for while Oz was alive, he never was allowed to come farther than the door. Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. This little girl, so the Scarecrow to the soldier, wishes to cross the desert. How can she do so? I cannot tell, answered the soldier, for nobody has ever crossed the desert unless it is Oz himself. Is there no one who can help me? Asked Dorothy earnestly. Glinda might, he suggested. Who is Glinda? Inquired Scarecrow. The Witch of the South. She is the most powerful of all the witches and rules over the Quadlings. Besides, her castle stands on the edge of the desert, so she may know a way to cross it. Full Metal Alchemist.
Glinda is a good witch, isn't she? Asked the child. The Quadlings think she is good, said the soldier, and she is kind to everyone. I have heard that Glinda is a beautiful woman who knows how to keep young in spite of the many years she has lived. How can I get to her castle? Asked Dorothy. The road is straight to the south, he answered, but it is said to be full of danger to travelers. There are wild beasts in the woods, and the race of queer men who do not like strangers to cross their country. For this reason,
Hollywood?
none of the Quadlings ever come to the Emerald City. I know. The soldier then left them, and the Scarecrow said, "It seems, in spite of dangers, that the best thing Dorothy can do is to travel to the lands of the South and ask Glinda to help her. For, of course, if Dorothy stays here, she will never get back to Kansas." "You must have been thinking again," remarked the Tin Woodman. "I have," said the Scarecrow. "I shall go with Dorothy," declared the Lion, "for I am tired of your city and long for the woods and the country again.
He yearns for the mines.
I am really a wild beast, you know. Besides, Dorothy will need someone to protect her." "That is true," agreed the Woodman. "My axe may be of service to her.
Oh.
And I okay, that's the only fucking time Legolas speaks to Frodo in that whole fucking movie. The only time he directly goes, "And my bow," and then that's it. They have no more interaction. He never speaks to Frodo again after that.
I'd
And the
never
best
even
part
seen the
is-
movie, I just know the reference.
I'm pretty fucking positive Frodo doesn't even know what Legolas's name is. Like, I'm pretty positive.
Man, I gotta start
Lego.
reading it again. I think I'll do that.
Do it.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever started.
Well, there's your chance.
This is true.
We could read Lord of the Rings on stream, that'd be kind of fun. But I think the Odyssey is next.
The
Whoa.
Odyssey.
I don't know. We could hold another vote. It's for another time.
Yeah.
So I also will go with her to the land of the south. When shall we start? Asked the Scarecrow. Are you going? They asked in surprise. Certainly. If it wasn't for Dorothy, I should never have had brains. She lifted me from the pole in the cornfield and brought me to the Emerald City, so my good luck is all due to her. And I shall never leave her until she starts back to Kansas for good and all. Thank you, said Dorothy gratefully. You are all very kind to me. But I should like to start as soon as possible. Okay, I think I read too much, but here. We shall go tomorrow morning, returned the Scarecrow. So now let us get ready, for it will be a long journey.
I love how she's like, y'all are nice, but can we just fucking
really
go?
wanna
Can you just
go.
can I just go? Can I please go? This is very funny.
It's that scene in Toy Story 2 where they're underneath the plane.
Let me leave.
They're like, let's
I love
go
you,
home.
but let me go. Bye bye.
Can't get a disco song.
Ooh.
Chapter 19. Attacked by the fighting trees.
Wow, these trees are really getting ahead of themselves.
Yeah.
They wanna
The
go.
next morning, Dorothy kissed the pretty green girl goodbye, and they all shook hands with the soldier with the green whiskers, who had walked with them as far as the gate. When the guardian of the gate saw them again, he wondered greatly that they could leave the beautiful city to get into new trouble. But he at once unlocked their spectacles, which he put back into the green box, and gave them many good wishes to carry with them. You are now our ruler, he said to the Scarecrow, so you must come back to us as soon as possible. I certainly shall if I am able, the Scarecrow replied, but I must help Dorothy to get home first. As Dorothy bade the good-natured guardian a last farewell, she said, I have been very kindly treated in your lovely city, and everyone has been good to me. I cannot tell you how grateful I am.
No.
Ooba-gooba-dooby.
Booba gooba dooby.
Yeah.
Okay. You said I cannot tell you how grateful I am last.
I cannot tell you how grateful I am.
Grateful.
I cannot tell you how grateful I am. Grrr.
Oh god. It turns like a bunch of Wookiees in here.
Yeah, that's where I left off.
Alright. Don't try, my dear, he answered. We should like to keep you with us, but if it is your wish to return to Kansas, I can't imagine why, I hope you will find a way. He then opened the gate of the outer wall, and they walked forth and started upon their journey. The sun shone brightly as our friends turned their faces toward the land of the south. They were all in the best of spirits and laughed and chatted together. Dorothy was once more filled with the hope of getting home, and the Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman were glad to be of use to her. As for the lion, he sniffed the fresh air with delight and whisked his tail from side to side in pure joy at being in the country again, while Toto ran around them and chased the moths and butterflies, barking merrily all the time. Full Metal Alchemist.
It just has all this energy.
Chat.
Oh, metal city
Yeah.
life does not agree with me at all, remarked the lion, as they walked along at a brisk pace. I have lost much flesh since I lived there. Whoa. I've lost much flesh since I lived there, and now I'm anxious for a chance to show the other beasts how courageous I have grown. They now turned and took a last look at the Emerald City. All they could see was a mass of towers and steeples behind the green walls, and high up above everything the spires and dome of the Palace of Oz. Oz was not such a bad wizard after all, said the Tin Woodman as he felt his heart rattling around in his breast. He just doesn't know. Full Metal Mamamamam.
Where are we? What'd you just say?
Oz was not such a bad wizard after all, said the Tin Woodman, as he felt his heart rattling around in his breast.
I can't do the orders like y'all can.
I just saw it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
He knew how to give me brains, and very good brains too, said the Scarecrow. If Oz had taken a dose of the same courage he gave me at the line, he would have been a brave man. Dorothy said nothing. Oz had not kept the promise he made her. But he had done his best, so she forgave him.
I don't.
As he said, he was a good man, even if he was a bad wizard. Shade.
Never forgive, never forget.
Yeah, he's in
day's
Omaha, she's in Oz. What the fuck?
I think he's a bad person, but a good wizard.
I almost would have preferred that.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Is it my turn? Is it you?
No, I haven't. I was interrupted.
I'm sorry.
The first day's journey was through the green fields and bright flowers that stretched about the Emerald City on every side. They slept that night on the grass with nothing but the stars over them, and they rested very well indeed. Now it's your turn.
Okay, in the morning they traveled on until they came back to a thick wood. There was no way of going around it, for it seemed to extend to the right and the left as far as they could see. And besides, they did not dare change the direction of their journey for fear of getting lost. So they looked for the place where it would be easiest to get into the forest. The Scarecrow, who was in the lead, finally discovered a big tree with such wide, spreading branches that there was a room for the party to pass underneath. So he walked forward to the tree, but as he came under the first branches, they bent down and twined around him, and the next minute he was raised from the ground and flung headlong among his fellow travelers.
Cue the boss battle music.
I don't want to do boss battle music.
No, it's fine. I was a joke. It just seemed like the exact moment for a boss battle.
That's true. Random encounter.
Alright, my turn?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. This did not hurt the Scarecrow, but it surprised him, and he looked rather dizzy when Dorothy picked him up. Here is another space between the trees, called the Lion. Let me try it first, said the Scarecrow, for it doesn't hurt me to get thrown about. Yeah, 'cause you're a ragdoll. He walked up to another tree as he spoke.
Sorry.
He walked up to another tree as he spoke, but its branches immediately seized him and tossed him back again. "This is strange," exclaimed Dorothy. "What shall we do?" The trees seem to have made up their minds to fight us and stop our journey, remarked the Lion. "I believe I will try myself," said the Woodman, and shouldering his axe, he marched up to the first tree that had handled the Scarecrow so roughly. When a big branch bent down to seize him, the Woodman chopped at it so fiercely that he cut it in two. At once the tree began shaking all its branches as if in pain, and the Tin Woodman passed safely under it. Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. Come on, he shouted to the others. Be quick. They all ran forward and past our tree without injury, except Toto, who was caught by a small branch and shaken until he howled. But the woodman promptly chopped off the branch and set the little dog free. The other trees of the forest did nothing to keep them back, so they made up their minds that only the first row of trees could bend down their branches, and that probably these were the policemen of the forest, and given this wonderful power in order to keep strangers out of it.
You want to finish it off?
Yeah, the four travelers. Oh, is this page the end of the chapter?
Yeah, it's literally like a paragraph.
Okay. The four travelers walked with ease through the trees until they came to the farther edge of the wood.
That's a nice rhyme.
Then, to their surprise, they found before them a high wall which seemed to be made of white china. It was smooth, like the surface of a dish, and higher than their heads. "What shall we do now?" asked Dorothy. "I will make a ladder," said the Tin Woodman, "for we certainly must climb over the wall." Full metal mallow.
There you go.
Oh, quick now.
Yeah, we only have like.
Where did
I think. Well,
Yeah?
yeah, we only have 4 more chapters. We can finish this off tonight.
4 more chapters. 4 more chapters.
Or 5, technically. It's this one's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. But 24 is literally like a paragraph.
He lied to me.
The dainty! The dainty. Baby.
What the hell was that?
What happened?
He put the fucking, like,
The mic in my
in his
mouth.
mouth.
Did it taste good?
It tastes like plastic.
Oh no.
If you have an
Oh,
external mic, why does it sound like you're talking through a cardboard box?
It doesn't really. Well, I'm using my headset. My headset.
Oh.
Mic. Amanda has a good mic.
I do have the good.
Yeah, she does have a good mic. Her
This
voice
is when
is
I'm right up next
so
to the
pretty.
mic.
But go straight for this thing. Alright,
Go
the
over
dainty. The dainty China country. This is chapter 20. You hear me? 20!
No.
I didn't
While
hear
the
you. Can you say that
woodman-
again?
Was making a ladder from the wood which he found in the forest. Dorothy lay down and slept, for she was tired by the long walk. The lion also curled himself up to sleep, and Toto lay beside him. The scarecrow watched the woodman while he worked and said to him, "I cannot think why this wall is here, nor what it is made of. Rest your brains, and do not worry about the wall," replied the woodman. "When we have climbed over it, we shall know what is on the other side." Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yep. After a time, the ladder was finished. It looked clumsy, but the Tin Woodman was sure it was strong and would answer their purpose. The Scarecrow waked Dorothy and the Lion and Toto and told them that the ladder was ready. The Scarecrow climbed up the ladder first, but he was so awkward that Dorothy had to follow close behind and keep him from falling off. When he got his head over the top of the wall, the Scarecrow said, "Oh my!" "Go on," exclaimed Dorothy. So the Scarecrow climbed farther up and sat down on the top of the wall, and Dorothy put her head over and cried, "Oh my!" just as the Scarecrow had done. Then Toto came up and immediately began to bark, but Dorothy made him be still.
Be still, my child.
"Be still, my dog." Oh my gosh.
Where are we at again?
I will
What is it again?
gladly say the last line. And Dorothy put her head over and cried. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Then Toto came up and immediately began to bark, but Dorothy made him be still. That's where we are.
Dorothy Higgins. Okay, there we go. I found it. Yay.
Yeah.
Alright. The lion climbed the ladder
Use the
next.
pretty microphone.
I am.
Yeah.
Is this pretty enough for you?
It's so pretty.
Alright. The lion climbed the ladder next, and the Tin Woodman came last. But both of them cried, "Oh my!" as soon as they looked over the wall. When they were all sitting in a row on the top of the wall, they looked down and saw a strange sight. Before them was a great stretch of country, having a floor as smooth and shining and white as the bottom of a big platter. Scattered around were many houses made entirely of china and painted in the brightest colors. These houses were quite small, the biggest of them reaching only as high as Dorothy's waist. There were also plenty of little barns with china fences around them, and many cows and sheep and horses and pigs and chickens. Commas
But
exist,
no
you know.
bulls.
Oh yeah.
And many cows and chickens and Jesus. All made of
Jesus.
china.
Ah!
Oh.
You good?
Oh. I think I just figured out what's wrong with my headphones.
Oh.
All made of china were standing about in groups. But the strangest of all were the people who lived in this queer country. There were milkmaids and shepherdesses with brightly colored bodices and golden spots all over their gowns, and princesses with the most gorgeous frocks of silver and gold and purple, and shepherds dressed in knee breeches with pink and yellow and blue stripes down them, and gold buckles on their shoes, and princes with jeweled crowns upon their heads, wearing ermine robes and satin doublets, and and funny clowns in ruffled gowns with round red spots upon their cheeks and tall pointed caps. That was a long ass sentence.
Yo, they got
I feel-
milkmaids though.
They got milkmaids.
They got them milkmaids. They got them milkmaids though.
They got that partridge in the pear tree though.
And strange of all, these people were all made of china, even to their clothes, and were so small that the tallest of them was no higher than Dorothy's knee. Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. No one did so much as look at the travelers at first, except one little purple china dog with an extra large head, which came to the wall and barked at them with a tiny voice, afterwards running away again.
The barking.
I feel like it would sound like clanking too for some reason. How shall we get down? Asked Dorothy. They found the ladder was so heavy they could not pull it up. The scarecrow fell off the wall, and the others jumped down upon him. So the hard floor would not
I
hurt
just
their
realized
feet.
what you said. It just seems like he opens his mouth and it just sounds like a fucking cymbal crashing, or the fucking metal pipe clang.
So like you know, like when you have like a piece of china that has like a lid on it, and when you take it off or like you bump it, it kind of clinks a little bit.
Yeah,
Like, that's what I imagine is a little
cute.
bit.
That's really
Yeah.
cute. But it was just funny. Just imagine the dog barking sound is replaced by the metal pipe falling sound, just cut off each time.
It's the metal pipe sound redeem, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like clink,
yeah.
clink, clink, clink.
Yeah, yeah. Except it gets cut off because they're like short little barks. That's some YouTube poop shit. Alright.
I love it.
Of course they took pains not to light on his head and get the pins in their ooh. Man, that was just a hazard altogether there.
The pins in their ooh?
To get their pins in their feet.
Ooh.
In their feet? I mean, not in their ooh either.
I don't want pins in the ooh.
No.
No pins in the ooey.
Bro.
No pins in the whoop. When all were safely down, they picked up the scarecrow, whose body was quite flattened out, and patted his straw into shape again. We must cross this strange place in order to get to the other side, said Dorothy, for it would be unwise for us to go any other way except due south. Full Metal Alchemist.
They began walking through the country of the China people. And the first thing they came 2 was a restaurant. Chow mein noodles, orange chicken. No.
Mm.
Was a China milkmaid milking a China cow. As they drew
The
near
China milk?
As they drew near the China cow, suddenly gave a kick and kicked over the China stool, the China pail, and even the China milkmaid herself, and then they all fell on the China ground with the great China clatter.
It's starting to feel like 2020
No,
election
it's a
all over
China
again.
crash. Get it? Baljeet gets it. Continue.
Alright. Dorothy was shocked to see that the China cow had broken her leg off, and that the China pail was lying in several small pieces, while the poor China milkmaid had a nick in her left elbow. There! Cried the China milkmaid angrily.
Does it say China
there.
on all of those for you, or are you just adding China?
No,
I'm
it's
just
just
adding
inserting
China.
China. But honestly, you
'Cause-
forgot to say about the China leg and the China elbow, so, you know, -2.
No, I'm only
getting
doing it
points
after
deducted.
I'm doing it before proper nouns. Excuse you.
Oh,
Didn't
okay.
catch the nuance.
Alright, fine, fine.
The
I guess I need to go
nuance.
back to school.
The nuance of the clatter clatter?
Here's the thing.
Crash, I mean.
Ladder crash.
That one.
See what you have done? My China cow has broken her leg, and I must now take her to the Chinaman's shop and have it glued on again. What do you mean by coming here and frightening my China cow? I am very sorry, returned Dorothy. Please forgive us. But the pretty China milkmaid was much too vexed to make any answer. She picked up the leg sulkily and led her China cow away, the poor animal limping on 3 legs. As she left them, the China milkmaid cast many reproachful glances over her shoulder at the clumsy strangers, holding her nicked elbow close to her side. Full Metal Alchemist.
Dorothy was
Ukagapa.
quite grieved at this mishap. We have... Well, sorry. I'm going back. Dorothy was quite grieved at this mishap. Dorothy was quite
better than
grieved at this
Dorothy.
mishap.
Bro, what the fuck, man?
What?
Okay.
Huh?
Yes, no, I'm not okay. It's
You
not
playing
giving me the
Balatro?
stuff. No, maybe.
You know
Did you
you
get a new
can't
pack?
silently play that game.
What are you silently raging at?
Balatro. 100% is Balatro.
I have one more hand. I'm not gonna do this. No!
We must be very careful here, said the kind-hearted woodman, or we may hurt these pretty little China people. They will never get
I
over
believe
it.
they're called Chinese.
No, China people. I think Marisa just likes saying China, honestly. A little farther on, Dorothy met a most beautifully dressed young princess who oh my gosh. A little farther on, Dorothy met a beautifully dressed young princess who stopped as short. Oh my goodness, I cannot read English today.
Apparently not.
You're not reading English, you're reading Chinese.
Oh. That explains it. Who stopped short as she saw the strangers and started to run away. Dorothy wanted to see more of the princess, so she ran after her, but the China girl cried out, "Don't chase me! Don't chase me!" She had such a frightened little voice that Dorothy stopped and said, "Why not?" "Because," answered the princess, also stopping a safe distance away, "if I run I may fall down and break myself." "But could you not be mended?" asked the girl. "Oh yes, but one is never so pretty after being mended, you know," replied the princess. "I suppose not," said Dorothy. "Now there is Mr. Joker, one of our clowns," continued the China lady, "who is always trying to stand upon his head. He has broken himself so often that he is mended in 100 places and doesn't look at all pretty. Here he comes now, so you can see for yourself. Oh my god, my goby. Do you know where we are?
I feel like I may have gone too. I was reading little things.
You may have gone too far in a few places.
Indeed,
He's
a
been
jolly
broken into
little
100
clown is the next
places and
line.
doesn't look at all pretty. Here he comes now, so you can see for yourself.
Right there.
Oh, give me a fucking
Wait, I have an idea.
card.
What?
That doesn't.
Did you find it?
Haha. What's the next line?
Indeed, a jolly little
a
clown.
jolly little clown came walking toward them.
I used my big brain. I searched the page.
Yeah, that's
Indeed,
a
a
good
jolly little
tactic.
clown came walking toward. I did go too far. Indeed, a jolly little clown came walking toward them, and Dorothy could see that in spite of his pretty clothes of red and yellow and green, he was completely covered with cracks, running every which way and showing plainly that he had been mended in many places. The clown put his hands in his pockets, and after puffing out his cheeks, how do you puff out china cheeks? Okay. And nodding his head at them saucily, he said, "My lady fair, why do you stare at poor old Mr. Joker? You're quite as stiff and prim as if you'd eaten up a poker."
Bars. Bars.
Yo, this
Be
clown
quiet,
is
sir,
cracked.
said the princess. "Can't you see these are strangers and should be treated with respect?" "Well, that's respect I expect," declared the clown, and immediately stood upon his head. "Don't mind Mr. Joker," said the princess to Dorothy. "He is considerably cracked in his head, and that makes him foolish." Full Metal Malcolm's.
He is
Wait,
cracked.
so that's... If he's cracked his head, does that mean that's his brain on crack?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
he's
I see.
cracked.
Clown is cracked and he's on crack.
Alright, so let's see. Full Metal Finding Nemo. "Oh, I don't mind him a bit," said Dorothy. "But you are so beautiful," she continued, "that I am sure I could love you dearly. Won't you let me carry you back to Kansas and stand you on Aunt Em's mantle? I could carry you in my basket." "That would make me very unhappy," answered the China Princess. "You see, here in our country we live contentedly and can talk and move around as we please. But whenever any of us are taken away, our joints stiffen, or our joints at once stiffen, and we can only stand straight and look pretty. Of course, that is all that is expected of us when we are on mantels and cabinets and drawing room tables. But our lives are much pleasanter here in our own country."
Yes.
"I would not make you unhappy for all the world," exclaimed Dorothy, "so I'll just say goodbye." "Goodbye," replied the princess. Full Metal Mouth.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dorothy, for not enslaving the China people.
Thank
They
you
walked
for letting Toy Story
carefully.
live on.
Yes, I know.
Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad.
I love it. They walked carefully through the China country. The little animals and all the little people scampered out of their way, fearing the strangers would break them. After an hour or so, the travelers reached the other side of the country and came to another China wall. It was not so high as the first, however, and by standing upon the lion's back, they managed to scramble to the top. Then the lion gathered his legs under him and jumped on the wall. But as he jumped, he upset the China church with his tail and smashed it all to pieces.
Death to the
That was-
church.
I feel like there is a steady increase in the amount of times you're saying China here.
It says China fucking church.
I
No,
feel
it
like
just says
next is
China
gonna
church.
be every other word.
That China was China too China bad. China said China Dorothy, but China, but China really, China, we, China, we're China, lucky China, and not China, doing China, China, little
I
China.
feel like this is now like it's like the kind of language you make up like in recess.
Right? Okay, every other word's gonna be China.
Yeah.
The adults won't ever know what we're talking about.
Yes.
You've heard of
Yes.
Pig Latin. Now there's
China Latin.
China Latin.
I love it. Oh my god, I totally want to do this in public. just so I get weird looks about like, oh, I don't want them to hear what they I don't want them to hear. Let's
We don't
talk
want
in
them
our
to know what we're
China
saying.
let's talk in our China language.
Okay. More harm than breaking a cow's leg and a church. They are also brittle. China, they China are China indeed. China said China, the China scared China crow. China.
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 And I am thankful I am made of straw and cannot be easily damaged. There are worse things in the China world than being a China scarecrow.
Okay. Chapter 21. The lion becomes the king of the beasts. After climbing down from the China wall, the travelers found themselves in a disagreeable country, full of bogs and marshes and covered with tall, rank grass. It was difficult to walk without falling into muddy holes, for the grass was so thick that it hid them from sight. However, by carefully picking their way, they safely got along until they reached solid ground. But here, the country seemed wilder than ever, and after a long and tiresome walk through the underbrush, they entered another forest where the trees were bigger and older than any they had ever seen. "This forest is perfectly delightful," declared the lion, looking around him with joy. "Never have I seen a more beautiful place." Amanda's turn.
It seems gloomy, said the scarecrow. Not a bit of it, answered the lion. This headset, sorry. Not a bit of it, answered the lion. I should like to live here all my life. See how soft the dried leaves are under your feet, and how rich and green the moss is that clings to these old trees. Surely no wild beasts could ever wish a pleasanter home. Perhaps there are wild beasts in the forest now, said Dorothy. I suppose there are, returned the lion, but I do not see any of them about. Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist. They walked through the forest until it became too dark to go any farther. Dorothy and Toto and the lion lay down to sleep, while the woodman and the scarecrow kept watch over them as usual. When morning came, they started again. Before they had gone far, they heard a low rumble, as of the growling of many wild animals. Toto whimpered a little, but none of the others was. That sounds weird.
None of the others?
Yeah, I know, but none of the others, like, I feel like it would be were. But none was.
All of the other reindeer?
Exactly, yeah.
Laughed and called him names.
Mm-hmm. They never let go of Rudolph.
Bastards.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But none of the others was frightened, and they kept along the well-trodden path until they came to an opening in the wood, in which were gathered hundreds of beasts of every variety. There were tigers and elephants and bears, and wolves and foxes and all others in the natural history.
I like the elephant.
And for a moment, Dorothy was afraid. The lion explained that the animals were holding a meeting, and he judged by their snarling and growling that they were in great trouble. Full Metal Mauricio.
Boy, you're in a heap of trouble. Alright. Right. Ah!
Oh no.
Oh, the ogre's coming out.
What are you doing in my swamp?
What are you doing in my swamp?
What are you doing in my swamp? Okay. As he spoke, several of the beasts caught sight of him. And at once, the great assemblage hushed, as if by magic. The biggest of the tigers came up to the lion and bowed, saying, "Welcome, O King of Beasts. You have come in good time to fight our enemy and bring peace to all the animals in the forest once more." "What is your trouble?" asks the lion quietly. "We are all threatened," answered the tiger, "by a fierce enemy which has lately come into this forest. It is a most tremendous monster, like a great spider, but with a body as big as an elephant and legs as long as a tree trunk. It has 8 of
Actually
these,
terrifying.
all legs. And as the China monster crawls through this forest, he seizes an animal with a leg and drags it into his mouth, where he eats it as a China spider does a
We're
China
done with
frog.
that chapter.
He can't. It's a part of him now.
Not one of
I
us
just
is
want to
doing
say I want to
well, this
watch a
fierce
version of
creature's
Shrek where I
alive.
want to. I want to watch a version of Shrek where all he says is, "What are you doing in my swamp?" The whole
I'm sure
time.
there's an edit out there for that.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Okay, continue.
Not one of us said, "Well, this fierce creature is alive," and we had called a meeting to decide how to take care of ourselves. Well, when you came among us, the lion thought for a moment. "Are there any other China lions in this forest?" he asked. "No, there were some, but the monster has eaten them all. And besides, you were none of them. They were none of them nearly so large and so brave as you.
I'm so brave.
And
Whoa.
I were the king of the forest." Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, put him up. Put him up.
That's a different version of the story.
Come on.
Put him up. Go. Go. Go.
Okay, okay, okay. Wait, where are we? If I put an end to your enemy, is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If I put an end to your enemy, will you bow down to me and obey me as king of the forest? Inquired the lion. We will do that gladly, returned the tiger, and all the other beasts roared with a mighty roar. We will! Where is this great spider of yours now? Asked the lion. Yonder, among the oak trees, said the tiger, pointing with his forefoot. Take good care of these friends of mine, said the lion, and I will go at once to fight the monster. He bade his comrades goodbye and marched proudly away to do battle with the enemy. Oogity shwoogity Malcolmy.
The great spider was lying asleep when the lion found him, and it looked so ugly that its foe turned up his nose in disgust. Its legs were quite as long as the tiger had said, and its body covered with coarse black hair. It had a great mouth with a row of sharp teeth a foot long, but its head was joined to the pudgy body by a neck as slender as a wasp's waist. This gave the lion a hint of the best way to attack the creature, and as he knew it was easier to fight it asleep than awake, he gave a great spring and landed directly upon the monster's back. Then, with one blow of his heavy paw, all armed with sharp claws, he knocked the spider's head from its body. Jumping down, he watched it until the long legs stopped wiggling, when he knew it was quite dead. The lion went back to the opening where the beasts of the forest were waiting for him and said proudly, You need fear your enemy no longer. But then the beasts bowed down to the lion as their king, and he promised to come back and rule over them as soon as Dorothy was safely on her way to Kansas. Full Metal Alchemist.
Damn. We have three
They
more
all-
chapters to go.
They all get to show off their abilities after
yeah.
having received them.
Yeah. Tying up those loose ends.
It's like a class change or something, you know?
Chapter 22. The country of the Quadlings.
Yeah!
Quadlings.
Quadlings!
The four travelers passed through the rest of the forest in safety, and when they came out from its gloom, saw before them a steep hill, covered from top to bottom with great pieces of rock. That will be hard to climb, said the Scarecrow, but we must get over the hill, nevertheless. So he led the way, and the others followed. They had nearly reached the first rock, when they heard a rough voice cry out, "Keep back!" "Who are you?" asked the Scarecrow. And a head showed itself over the rock, and the same voice said, "This hill belongs to us, and we don't allow anyone to cross it, brother."
Brother.
Full Metal Mama.
Mama.
I'm mad. So he led the way, right? Where are you? What?
But we must cross it is the next line.
Oh, okay. That's why you said brother, and it threw me.
Brother.
Brother.
But we must cross it, said the Scarecrow. We're going to the country of the China Quadlings.
What the-
Alright.
That's not what it said.
But you shall not, replied the voice. And there stepped from behind the rock the strangest man the travelers had seen. He was 7 feet tall, with a long gray beard and gray rags. You shall not pass. Okay, I'm done.
That's not the right book.
He was quite short and stout, and had a
Here's
big
his handle,
head,
here's his
which was flat at the top, and supported by a thick neck full of wrinkles.
That's a neck!
But he had no arms at all. And seeing this, the Scarecrow did
No
not
arms at
fear
all.
that so helpless a creature could prevent them from climbing the hill. So he said, "I'm sorry not to do as you wish, but we must pass over your hill, whether you
That
like it or not."
sucks.
And he walked boldly there forward.
They just like look at him, they're like, oh, this is weird. Oh, whatever.
Boldly going.
You're not gonna do shit about it, so we're just gonna keep walking.
Damn.
Yeah.
Pass.
That's funny.
Ooh.
Is it me?
Maybe.
Yes, go.
As quick as lightning, the man's head shot forward, and his neck stretched out until the top of his head, where it was flat. Struck the Scarecrow in the middle of... Oh, sorry. I am like not... I'm adding words. I'm adding words that are not China. Quick as lightning, the man's head shot forward, and his neck stretched out until the top of the head, where it was a flat. Struck the Scarecrow in the middle, and sent him tumbling over and over down the hill. It's always a Scarecrow. Because, you know, he doesn't, like, feel, I guess. Almost as quickly as it came, the head went back to the body, and the man laughed harshly. Ho 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 ho, it isn't easy as you think. A chorus of boisterous laughter came from the other rocks. Ho 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 ho. And Dorothy saw hundreds of armless hammerheads upon the hillside, one behind every rock. The lion became
Armless.
quite angry at the laughter caused by the Scarecrow's mishap, and giving a loud roar that echoed like thunder, he dashed up the hill. Amanda, go.
Oh, man. Gosh. There it is. Again, a head shot swiftly out, and the great lion went rolling down the hill as if he had been struck by a cannonball. Dorothy ran down and helped the Scarecrow to his feet, and the lion came up to her, feeling rather bruised and sore, and said, "It is useless to fight people with shooting heads. No one can withstand them." "What can we do, then?" she asked. "Call the winged monkeys," suggested the Tin Woodman. "You have still the right to command them once more." "Very well," she answered, and putting on the golden cap, she uttered the magic words. The monkeys were as prompt as ever, and in a few moments the entire band stood before her. Full Metal Knuckle Man.
Full Metal Knuckles. What are your commands? Inquired the king of the monkeys, bowing low. "Carry us over the hill to the country of the Quadlings," answered the girl. "It shall be done."
It shall be done.
It shall be done.
"It shall be done," said the
It
king.
shall be done.
It shall be done.
He just becomes RoboCop.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
It shall be done," said the king, and at once the winged monkeys caught the four travelers and Toto up in their arms and flew away with them. As they passed over the hill, the hammerheads yelled with vexation and shot their heads high in the air, but they could not reach the winged monkeys, which carried Dorothy and her comrades safely over the hill and set them down in the beautiful country of the Quadlings. Full Metal Mama.
This is the last time you can summon us, said the leader to Dorothy. So goodbye, and good luck to you. Goodbye, and thank you very much, returned the girl. And the monkeys rose into the air, and were out of sight in a twinkling.
So, if she gives the crown to just someone else in the group, couldn't they just use the...
That's true. I like how there's just a bunch of jerks hanging out in the hills. For no other good reason than they just want to toss their heads at people.
They're just there to chuck their heads at people.
Yeah, they're just there to be bullies. Wait, is it me now?
I thought it was still Mauricio.
No, yeah, it's me. We
interrupted again.
Okay. We're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun.
The country of the Quadlings seemed rich and happy. There was field upon field of ripening grain, with well-paved roads running between and pretty rippling brooks with strong bridges across them. The fences and the houses and bridges were all painted bright red, just as they had been painted yellow in the country of the Winkies, and blue in the country of the Munchkins. Quadlings
so they're paying the
themselves,
taxes, okay.
damn. The Quadlings themselves, who were short and fat, and looked chubby and good-natured, were dressed all in red, which showed bright against the green grass and the yellowing grain. The monkeys had set them down near a farmhouse, and the four travelers walked to it and knocked at the door. It was opened by the farmer's wife, and when Dorothy asked for something to eat, the woman gave them all a good dinner, with 3 kinds of cake and 4 kinds of cookies and 5 types of bowls of milk for Toto.
Hell yeah.
How far is it to the castle of Glinda? Asked the child. It is not a great way, answered the farmer's wife. Take the road to the south and you will reach it soon. Full Metal Femur.
Now is it my turn?
I mean, I did say Full Metal Femur, you know?
Oh, I didn't
So what?
hear that part.
You didn't.
I
He
just
said it 2
heard
times.
femur.
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 Femur. Thinking the good woman, they started afresh and walked by the fields and across the pretty bridges until they saw before them a very beautiful castle. Before the gates were 3 young girls dressed in handsome red uniforms trimmed with gold braid. And as Dorothy approached, one of them said to her, "Why have you come to the South Country?" "To see the good witch who rules here," she answered. "Will you take me to her?" "Let me have your name, and I will ask Glinda if she will receive you." They told who they were, and the girl soldier went into the castle. After a few moments, she came back to say Dorothy and the others were to be admitted at once. Chapter 23!
Bring him in, bring him in, bring him in!
What? What? Bring him in?
Bring him in!
Bring what in?
Bring
People.
him in!
Bring him in! Is this a reference to something I don't know?
No, I don't know. She said admit them at once.
Oh. I see. I get it now. Bring him in.
Hey, come here, you.
Okay. Manda, go.
Man. Oh, you didn't say the thing. You just read
Manda,
that the
go.
next chapter.
Manda, go.
Okay. My headset, like. Before they went to see Glinda, however, they were taken to a room of the castle where Dorothy washed her face and combed her hair, and the lion shook the dust out of his mane, and the scarecrow patted himself into his best shape, and the woodsman polished his tin and oiled his joints. He
In
really likes
public?
to oil them joints.
Oiled him. He likes
When
to
they were
oil
all
him.
Oiled it.
When they were all quite presentable, they followed the soldier girl into a big room where the witch Glinda sat upon a throne of rubies. She was both beautiful and young to their eyes. Her hair was a rich red color and fell in flowing ringlets over her shoulders. Her dress was pure white, but her eyes were blue. That sentence doesn't make sense to me, but okay. And they looked kindly upon the little girl, Full Metal Malcolm.
What can I do for you, my child? She asked. Dorothy told the witch all her story, how the cyclone had brought her to the land of Oz, how she had found her companions, and of the wonderful adventures they had met with. My greatest wish now, she added, is to get back to Kansas, for Aunt Em will surely think something dreadful has happened to me, and that I will make her put on mourning. And unless the crops are better this year than they were last year, I'm sure Uncle Henry cannot afford it. Glinda leaned forward and kissed the sweet, upturned face of the loving little girl. Bless your dear heart, she said. I am sure I can tell you of a way to get back to Kansas. Then she added, but if I do, you must give me the golden cap. Oh, Full Metal Alchemist.
Willingly, exclaimed Dorothy. Indeed, it is of no use to me now, and when you have it, you can command the winged monkeys 3 times. And I think I shall need their service just those 3 times, answered Glinda, smiling. Dorothy then gave her the golden cap, and the witch said to the Scarecrow, "What will you do when Dorothy has left us?" "I will return to the Emerald City," he replied, "for Oz has made me its ruler, and the people like me. The only thing that worries me is how to cross the Hill of Hammerheads. By means of the golden cap, I shall command the winged monkeys to carry you to the gates of the Emerald City," said Glinda, "for it would be a shame to deprive the people of so wonderful a ruler." Am I really wonderful? Asked the Scarecrow. You are unusual, replied Glinda. Turning to the Tin Woodman, she asked, what will become of you when Dorothy leaves this country? Femur McBeamer. Alright.
Femur to femur. Is that my call? He
Lemur to lemur.
leaned on his axe and thought a moment. Then he said, the Winkies are very kind to me and wanted me to rule over them after the Wicked Witch died. I am fond of the Winkies, and if I could get back again to the country of the West, I should like nothing better than to rule over them forever. My second command to the Winged Monkeys, said Glinda, will be that they carry you safely to the land of the Winkies. Your brain may not be so large to look at as those of the Scarecrow, but you are really brighter than he is when you are well polished. And I am sure you will rule the Winkies wisely and well.
Why does
Then
that
the
low
witch-
key feel like a snub?
Yeah, I know. Then the witch
Like, oh, you're
looked
brighter.
at the big, shaggy lion and asked, when Dorothy has returned to her home, what will become of you? I'm gonna continue this one. Over the hill of the Hammerheads, he answered, there lies a grand old forest, and all the beasts that live there have made me their king. If I could only get back to this forest, I would pass my life very happily there. Okay, I'll pass it on to Amanda.
My life forever. My third command to the Winged Monkeys, said Glinda, shall be to carry you to the forest, then. Having used up the powers of the Golden Cap, I shall give it to the King of the Monkeys, that he and his band may thereafter be free evermore. The Scarecrow and the Tin Woodman and the Lion now thanked the Good Witch earnestly for her kindness, and Dorothy exclaimed, you are certainly as good as you are beautiful, but you have not yet told me how to get back to Kansas. Your silver shoes will carry you over the desert, replied Glinda. If you had known their power, you could have gone back to your Aunt Em the very first day you came to this country. But then I should not have had my wonderful brains, cried the Scarecrow. I might have passed my whole life in the farmer's cornfield. And I should not have had my lovely heart, said the Tin Woodman. I might have stood and rusted in the forest till the end of the world. And I should have lived coward forever, declared the Lion. And no beast in all the forest would have had a good word to say to me. This is all true, said Dorothy, and I am glad I was of use to these good friends. But now that each of them has had what he most desires, and each is happy in having a kingdom to rule besides, I think I should like to go back to Kansas. Full Metal Alchemist.
Dorothy's gonna rule Kansas. Alright. The silver shoes, said the Good Witch, have wonderful powers. And one of the most curious things about them is they can carry you to any place in the world in 3 steps. And each step will be made in a wink of an eye. All you have to do is knock the heels together 3 times and command the shoes to carry you wherever you wish to go. If that is so, said the child joyfully, I will ask them to carry me back to Kansas at once. She threw her arms around the lion's neck and kissed him, patting his big head tenderly. Then she kissed the Tin Woodman, who was weeping in a way most dangerous to his joints, but she hugged the soft, stuffed body of the Scarecrow in her arms instead of kissing his painted face, and found she was crying herself, as this sorrowful parting from her loving comrades. Full Metal Alchemist.
Glinda the Good stepped down from her ruby throne to give the little girl a goodbye kiss, and Dorothy thanked her for all the kindness she had shown to her friends and herself. Dorothy now took Toto up solemnly in her arms, and having said one last goodbye, she clapped the heels of her shoes together 3 times, saying, "Take me home to Aunt Em." Instantly,
It's like home.
she was whirling through the air. so swiftly that all she could see or feel was the wind whistling past her ears. The silver shoes took but 3 steps, and then she stopped so suddenly that she rolled over upon the grass several times before she knew where she was. At length, however, she sat up and looked about her. "Goodness gracious, great balls of fire," she cried. Where she was sitting up on the broad Kansas prairie, and just before her was the new farmhouse Uncle Henry built after the cyclone had carried away the old one. Uncle Henry was milking the china cows in the barnyard. Odo had jumped out of her arms and was running towards the barn, barking furiously. Dorothy stood up and found she was in her stocking feet, for the silver shoes had fallen off in her flight throughout the air and were lost forever in the desert.
Chapter
Hooray.
25. Oh
Wait,
my
24?
God. What? Oh yeah, 24. I can't read.
Roman numerals.
I've been keeping up a really good impression so far, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aunt Em had just come out of the house to water the cabbages when she looked up and saw Dorothy running to her. "My darling child," she cried, folding the little girl in her arms and covering her face with kisses. "Where in the world did you come from?" "From the land of Oz," said Dorothy gravely. "And here is Toto, too. And oh, Aunt Em, I am so glad to be at home again." The end.
Hooray!
Hey,
Yay.
Oh, we did it. We
Huzzah.
read
That
the
was
Wizard of
so
Oz.
much fun.
Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah.
Alrighty, I'm gonna call it a stream.
Okay.
Thought I was gonna play afterwards, but I am tired.
mm-hmm.
That's fair.
It's 12:15 here, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here too.
Okay, good night.
Baljeet, are you
Good night.
playing more?
I know I gotta catch up on grades and planning because I had morning duty this week, so I did not stay late to work on stuff. So I gotta do that this weekend.
Adult things.
Yeah, that way I don't have to do too much adult things next week. Too.
Then we
That's
are
fair.
rating Con.
Okay, I will do the same.
Good night, all, and
Good
thank you for
night.
joining us
Good
on this
night.
journey through the Wizard of Oz. It's been fun. We'll be back maybe next Friday with a new book.
Odyssey. Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Are we doing the Odyssey?
Odyssey. I don't know.
I love
Do you want to put it up to a vote
I'm down.
in the thing?
I have the Odyssey on my bookshelf, and I want to read from that, but I don't know how well it's going to sync up with another text. So I will investigate what text that is and see if we can all use it. Other than that, I don't know. Yeah, we could put it up to a vote. I'm good with that.
I think a vote is best. That way, like, it's fair.
Do
Yeah,
we
but
want
who's
to-
gonna be listing the books? Is it gonna be you, Amanda? Do you want to like just have the Odyssey as one option to vote for, and then list 3 others? Or are we all going to? I don't know. Maybe we should just do the Odyssey. Everyone wants to do the Odyssey here, right?
I don't know. Mauricio sounds not super thrilled about it.
What?
Every time you
Yeah.
ask
I mean-
about it, you're just like, "Are we doing the Odyssey?"
We're rating in 3 seconds. Bye.
We'll figure it out.